15 years into Drake's music career, and the Drake Slimless package is still more prevalent and stronger than ever. Drake has stamped many artists' careers, launching them to mainstream success, with 4 Bats being the most recent after Drake remixed Act 2, Day That A. The initial song got crazy reactions from streamers and praise and co-signs by Kanye West and later the Sixth God. Now the high-pitched singing of music caught many people off guard, as by the scenery it had straight Mandem and steppers with Pooh Shiesty. However, when you heard him sing, it totally threw you off. Today, we're going to talk about the significance of the Drake Stimulus package and how this feature will launch 4 Bats deep into the mainstream game, by evaluating the success of artists who came before him, who Drake blessed with a stimulus package at breakthrough moments in their rap career. So what's the Drake Stimulus package? The concept of the Drake Stimulus package is how Drake's involvement on a project can significantly boost the artist's career trajectory. Right here is a case in point. Drake has assisted 32 artists to their highest Hot 100 positions at one time, from A$AP Rocky, Future, Lil Durk, Rick Ross, and The Weeknd, portraying the dominance that the Drake feature holds as it has birthed many artists' first ever Billboard position. Drake is simply in a league of his own, and has assisted multiple artists to reach their peak listeners and charting positioning. However, there were 18 artists that has never even charted before on Hot 100 until the Drake feature, from A$AP Rocky, BlocBoy JB, French Montana, Olive McConan, and Party Next Door. Now to put this in perspective, although Drake's career is incomparable to nobody in rap, his sports comparison will be LeBron James because of his 15 years of dominance, or even Magic Johnson for the greatest pass ever with the amount of assisted careers that Drake has nurtured. In modern time, the Midas touch of Drake has certified many artists in their careers, from Dave, Future, Fetty Wap, Olive McConan, but what had the biggest influence dating back to 2013 was the Migos. Now the trio of 3 young artists from the north side of Atlanta were bubbling on the local scene and were yearning for that trap rap song that would make them known internationally. Offset, Takeoff, and Quavo were all family growing up in Gwinnett County, Atlanta, and they often were respected and had to go extra hard to make it, claiming Atlanta. At the time, the Migos were most known locally for their songs Hannah Montana, Adios, and Pronto, then later the runaway smash hit, Bando. Now the Migos never lied or exaggerated about the lifestyle that they lived. They grew up trapping in abandoned houses in the countryside of Atlanta. And in this video, you can see them rocking a free Offset t-shirt because he was locked up. Now in the summer of that year, Hot 107 was hosting their annual birthday bash in Atlanta, which had special guests from 2 Chainz, Meek Mill, Rich Homie Quan. But somebody messaged to DJ Drama, the Atlanta mixtape DJ, and questioned why the Migos weren't performing, and that pro Migo enthusiast was Drake. The Migos style of music was very different than typical rap. Rather than punching into a 60 bar straight, they almost freestyled every song and seemed to piggyback off each other's ad-libs. Now Drake, who appeared as a special guest for 2 Chainz set, pulled up on them backstage and walking towards them mumbling their songs. A young Takeoff and Quavo suggested making a song with Drake and exchanged their information, but expected nothing because that was the nature of the music industry. Cupcake and say let's lock in and work, but don't follow through when it's time to work. Now sure enough, a week later, Drake reached out to their manager Coach K, and 1 week after they met in person at the birthday bash, the Drake Versace remix was released. While Takeoff and Quavo were enjoying the success, Offset was still locked up in DeKalb County, Atlanta, and had 5 months to go before he was released from prison. Offset explained how the Drake feature was such a blessing, and how although he was in jail, Takeoff and Quavo were saving a third of the money for him so that when he came back, he would be iced up and have money to roll.
I ain't believe it at first though, but then I knew it was real when they used to do the little count. When I was in DeKalb, they used to be singing Versace while they doing count, but they not knowing who I am, they just counting me as another body in there, but they singing the song while they walking past. That's when I knew it was real. Then I talked to Quavo and Takeoff on the phone, and they told me Drake got on it, and I was like, let me hear it. And then they played it, and I was like, yeah, it's over with.
Drake is without a doubt one of the most versatile artists in rap, period. Now prior to 2013, Drake was mostly known for his lovey-dovey type of singing that we heard in So Far Gone and Thank Me Later. Drake really tapped into his rapping ability, and one in 2 regards, with the first being, people started to respect him more as a rapper and not just as a singer, and 2, he helped put on one of the most last successful music groups in hip-hop, making them more appealing to a wider audience, as well as showcasing his ability to recognize emerging talent and contribute to their breakthrough in the music scene. The Migos brought a whole new swag and synergy to hip-hop, with their lingo, their outgoingness, and the ability to feed off each other, creating smash hits. The stamp of Drake on Versace will lead to even bigger songs like Look at My Dab, Stir Fry, and Bad and Bougie. In the span of 4 years between 2017 to 2021, the Migos released the Culture Trilogy, which really shaped the way music sounded in commercial settings. Whether it was Walk Like I Talk It, Motorsport, Slippery, Having Our Way, the Migos were played everywhere and you couldn't escape them. Basketball arenas, nightclubs, barbershops, and the world was just so drawn into this get fly ass type of music. The brotherhood of Drake and the Migos became so tight that in 2017 they hosted the Aubrey and the Three Migos tour right after Drake released Scorpion and they released Culture 2. Now, the crew toured for 3 months and sold out every arena in North America, showing that this once business friendship that started in 2013 around a popular trap song was the start of a real-ass relationship between the boy and the Migos. Isle of Makonnen is often referred to as a one-hit wonder for the short career after his hit song Tuesday. Now, Tuesday was a smash hit locally and had his songs going crazy up in Atlanta and in LA. And in 2014, Drake hopped on the remix of Tuesday and made it a club smash hit. Now, with all the attention towards Drake and Isle of Makonnen, Drake signed Isle of Makonnen to OVO Sound, which seemed to be like a turning point for his career, launching him to mainstream success. The song received Grammy nominations and went platinum a year later in 2015. Isle of Makonnen's fall from grace left many people confused, which caused Redditors to accuse Drake of trading him off OVO while he was asleep, or not liking him because he was a part of the Alphabet community and was in the closet. Now, with some people even saying old tweets resurfaced about him talking greasy about Drake and the OVO brand. We all know the narrative being pushed about Drake's label, OVO Sound, that he signs the best talent that are 90% Canadian and has them write for him and stealing their best work. Now, although this isn't proven, this is a narrative being pushed in many online hip-hop communities. In 2015, Fetty Wap was a rapper who could not miss. Hit after hit, blowing up off the song Trap Queen and My Way. My Way became the Summer 15 anthem, and the song was so fire that the boy couldn't resist hopping on the remix. Now, the Remy Boys rapper would experience the Drake stimulus package, and the irony of this collaboration was, it caused speculation that the song wasn't entirely cleared by Fetty's label, as the song could only be found on YouTube and SoundCloud, and not any DSPs like Spotify or Apple Music. Fetty Wap destroyed his relationship with Drake by not releasing the Drake version of My Way on his album. He wanted to take his verse off the song so he could put his friend Monty, who's an upcoming rapper, on the song with Drake, which Drake wasn't cool with. So instead, he got a Drake feature and hype around it, and the song never officially came out because he wanted to put his friend on, and Drake wasn't rocking with it. Drake's team wasn't feeling it and took Monty off the verse and released it on SoundCloud. And when Fetty Wap was gearing up to release his album, as sort of a payback for being spiteful and bitter for Drake not putting his dogs on, he released only his version and didn't put the Drake version on Spotify. Like many rappers, Fetty was blowing through money fast and admitted to buying 72 cars for friends and family and expensive trips and spending millions of dollars on jewelry. With no manager, Fetty poorly managed his funds, which symbolized income and decline, even reflecting that if his music came out in 2020, there would be no Fetty Wap because music is so different now. The success of My Way and Trap Queen had him so lit that Taylor Swift brought him out at her 1989 World Tour in Seattle, and Fetty gave himself credit for changing the culture of music. I was like the person to make a song a non-structured thing. If you remember, it was like verse, hook, verse. 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minute songs and shit like that. When I came out, 2-minute songs. It was just like, damn, we don't gotta make long songs anymore. I made it short because I want y'all to keep playing it. Fetty Wap admitted to being big-headed and messing up his opportunity with Drake. I was real big-headed, man. One thing about me at that time, nobody could tell me shit. I felt like I had a plan about how the shit was supposed to go. That was supposed to be Monty's record, but it didn't work out. The first and last time I spoke to Drake, he asked me to get on that song. Then, when I didn't put it on the album, Drake was probably like, who the F you think he is? There are no hard feelings right now, and I still consider myself a Drake fan. The support of Drake would only take him so far, and when the rap money slowed up, he switched lanes. In May of 2023, Fetty was sentenced to 6 years in prison for a drug trafficking scheme, pleading guilty to conspiracy to distribute 500 grams of cocaine. Now, Drake gave Fetty Wap an alley-oop to success, and he drowned himself. Fetty Wap's music career was at a pivotal time in hip-hop, where the sound of music was changing, and most of us were in our early teens. The Drake stimmy could only bless one artist on one song at a time, and it's safe to say, Fetty's generosity and inclusiveness was the source of his own downfall. The Atlanta rapper Future is someone regarded as the king of trap music in Atlanta. Although his first collaboration was with Drake in 2011 on Tony Montana, his breakout moment didn't feel legit until 2014-2015 on his DS2 tape with Drake. Tony Montana was a fairly big record in Atlanta, and Future was disappointed that Drake didn't show up to the music video of his trendy song, viewing it as a slap in the face because so many people in Atlanta wanted to be on the song, and he said no. Drake in any capacity wasn't Future's big homie or put him on, but when a boy from the 6 and Future from the A linked up, street bangers were the outcome. Now don't get it twisted, Future had hits like March Madness, Throwaway, 56 Nights. But when we think of Future, we think of albums like Hendrix, the Future album, I Never Liked You, but DS2 and What a Time to Be Alive were turning points in both artists' career. DS2 contained straight trap house anthems about groupie hoes, freakos, getting dirty money, and Drake was the only feature on this album, with the biggest song being Where Your Ass Was At, aka Where You At, with the bottom line of the song being a message to all the people who tried to come back and profit off Drake and Future's success after abandoning them during their times of struggles. with Drake being scrutinized as a soft-spoken, light-skinned Jewish kid from Toronto who nobody took serious because he was an actor, and Future being told his music would never be big outside the trap. DS2 will be followed up by What a Time to Be Alive, which gave us big rings, Digital Dash, and how could I forget Jumpman, 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 Damn Boy's Up to Something, which gave us trap fans a summer full of hits. In 2016, the Southwest London rapper Dave is someone who became a respected rapper worldwide. Now, despite him being from the UK, many hip-hop fans here still embraced him for what he has done for the game and have much respect UK rap. 2016, Dave was bubbling and got real traction from the song Thiago Silva with AJ Tracey. The song had Europe on fire, and Drake with the ear to the sound everywhere would tap in with him. Late 2016, they released the Wanna Know remix, and this situation wouldn't necessarily be the Drake Still Must package, even though the song amassed hundreds of millions of views, because Dave was still well known in the UK and his sound was traveling to different areas. But the co-sign of Drake increased the perceived value of the different sound of music from London. 8 years later, and they're still good friends, and Drake has embraced Central C, a newer artist, and has increased the value and respect for London even more. In 2018, the rap hook 901 Shelby Drive Look Alive was something that we couldn't escape. Memphis rapper BlocBoy JB had the song of the summer when Drake hopped on Look Alive, showing love to his Memphis roots. Now, just knowing Drake's heritage, his mom's from Canada and his dad is from Memphis, it was only right. The Look Alive collaboration was a prime example of the Drake Stimulus package, and was probably the biggest example ever to date, as he took a local Memphis rapper whose music was known outside the city to a mainstream hit. The 21-year-old rapper at the time had picked up traction for his song Shoot, which created a viral dance. Drake was already super tapped in with Tay Keith, the hit producer of the song, so it made their collaboration 10 times more likely. The Memphis rapper became a 2018 XXL freshman and got dance moves in video games and even opened up for Jay-Z and Beyonce while they're touring in the city. BlocBoy JB has seen the biggest growth out of any artist for the Drake Stimmy, but his fall from grace was also even bigger. After the Drake hype died down, he was independent for a while, then later signed to Yo Gotti's CMG label. Now, one thing that many people overlook is that it's more pressure to stay hot once you get hot. As before, when you're a nobody, you getting on doesn't really change the situation from the pressure perspective. But once you do get on and the fans are looking to want more, they're expecting the stars to always align. 2020 was the year of the COVID pandemic, and even during the pandemic, Drake was saving lives. Alabama rapper Young Blue began his rap career in 2013 with his first Hello World mixtape, and although Young Blue was grinding and dropping music, nothing broke the surface for years outside of Alabama, until in 2020 when he released Your Mind Still, which became his breakthrough R&B record to the mainstream. The max the labels wanted to sign him for was $100K, with a bonus of $150, but the terms of the contracts required the masters for his old music and 4 future albums. The deal had no real benefits and seemed to be a straight setup for a slavery deal. Now, the Your Mind song became a viral sensation and fell right into the hands of Aubrey Drake Graham, and he remixed it. Young Blue spoken out prior to the Drake feature, he had $250K record deal offers, but after, labels were offering him as much as $9 million.
Drake feature is what it's hyped up to be. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's really what it's hyped up to be. Like,
it's really what it's hyped up.
You really like, you know what I'm saying, put together like multi-million dollar deal off, you know what I'm saying, off a feature.
Whenever we see an artist pop off a Drake feature, we often assume that there were some struggling artists with no buzz and Drake was some good Samaritan and saved their life. Although this is the case for some artists, this is not particularly the case with Young Blue. Forbats has become the newest artist, taking the internet by storm. With his high-pitched singing voice not matching with his physical aura, 3 songs into his music career, he has landed a song with Drake. Now, Forbats landed a song with Drake, of course, caused him to be labeled as industry plant, with the root definition of industry plant being an artist who has a major or indie label backing their movement, which is essentially their come up, and portrays it as homegrown or organic. In hip hop, we always love the rags to riches or get rich or die trying story, and somehow always hate when people get put into a good position without doing any work really. Forbats originally took off with his 4 shooters only on the block freestyle, and with very little known about the actual life of Nico Bennett, other than he was from Dallas, Texas, and left people with many questions. With the first question being, how did Forbats do in less than 6 months when 99% of artists couldn't do in 10 years, which is get a Drake feature? The Drake feature came with the price, and although he got co-signed to FaceTimes from Kanye West, the support of Drake will land him a record deal with Drake's OVO sound. After doing some research, it was revealed that Forbats has a distribution deal through Video and is managed by Amber G. Baker, the creative manager at RCA Records, a subsidiary of Sony Music. Her LinkedIn shows a history of working with Atlantic and Capitol Records, along with artists like Gucci Mane, Future, and Lil Baby, so it's very clear that she's been tapped in. The prolific track record of Forbats' manager sort of goes against his narrative of being independent, as while technically he is assigned to a major label, well I guess now he's signed to OVO but he wasn't before, His come up was not the result of just his own doings and was heavily influenced by his manager's connections. The first case point people bring up when they talk about industry plants is nobody likes their music, and they became big fairly quickly without a true organic audience. When it comes to the narrative around popularizing artists, people move the goalposts of what's considered good marketing and who's a plant. The answer of Forbats being an industry plant seems quite obvious. However, some people have objected for multiple reasons.
Why are y'all lying? We all know he's not independent. We all know he's not independent, but he came out of thin air.
So as somebody who actually works in the music industry and works very closely with independent artists and even major artists, let me tell you how powerful connections can be for your music career. Before he even blew up, I actually got hit up to promote his first song. I'm talking about this song had 0 plays to start out. What most people don't know or fail to realize is that if you don't have connections in the music industry, you're cooked. How sure do most people have a set of songs before they just blow up like how Forbats did? Yeah, of course. Sometimes if you want to make it, it's about who you know. And I don't think we should fault somebody for knowing somebody in the industry unless they're hot garbage. Obviously, people like his songs. Now looking back at it, it's pretty cool how I even got to do this promo. The guy who hit me up was Mr. Tastemaker on Instagram. Pretty cool guy in the time frame I've gotten to know him. Here's him congratulating me on some of my, milestones. If you can see it, this says October 10th, and then down there it says it's for our artist named Forbats. Then here's him sending me the audio. And then he himself actually works for a marketing agency. Oftentimes small labels, independent artists, managers, they will often hit up the marketing agency to handle any type of promo.
Whether if you think he's an industry plant or not, him getting a Drake feature this early on is very skeptical. With the Drake Slimmest package being in full effect, it's almost double XP'd with him signing him to OVO. Although Drake gets slandered for being youthful and trying to involve himself with the newest artists, he always finds a way to connect himself with the most lit emerging talent. Drake has jump-started so many careers, buried so many careers, and resurrected so many careers. So it's without a doubt that the Drake Slimmest package is more dominant than ever 15 years later. Subscribe for more. Jared the Star. I'm gone.